Hey guys, it's Athena. It's been another long chunk of time since my last video. I apologize for that. And I wanted to give a really quick thank you to a very special viewer out there who has reached out to me on a couple of occasions and said, "Where are you? Come back. I miss you," or "We miss you, please." I understand how that is because there's at least a couple YouTube people out there that I feel that way about. I don't care what they make a video about. I just want to see them, just see how they're doing, hear about anything. It's really cool and humbling to imagine that there would be anyone out there who would feel that way towards my videos. So for that reason, I'm sitting down right now and recording something. I don't know how long it's going to be. I think I'm just going to share a couple updates, a couple cool things that I have found, discovered, created, whatever. So thanks for watching, and here we go. One update I'm very happy to finally report. It took longer than I had planned, but I have finally created my ancestor altar. I wanted to be finished with it by the end of January, February at the latest, and I finished it on Mother's Day. That was meaningful and appropriate because even though I'm calling it an ancestor altar, it's really only an altar to my mother right now. I'm not doing the classic idea of remembering everybody, all your beloved dead, and calling on everyone you can remember, their names back a few generations. I'm not interested in doing that right now, although I have the capabilities of doing that because, you know, after spending 2 years on Ancestry.com, I have a long list of names. I'm not interested in that. I really just wanted a sacred space to sit down and talk to my mom, and it's almost like a little phone booth, especially since I have it in a kind of a unusual place. It's inside here. These doors open up, and when you open it, it's all laid out. I'm going to try to make Sunday my time with mom day. The thing is, I talk to her whenever I need to, in the car, usually in the car, because when I talk to her, I like to talk out loud rather than just in my mind. There are some neat stories about that and about my trying to communicate with her and receive a sign from her, but I don't think I'm going to include that on this video. So yay, check off my list. I finally got my altar up and ready. This mugwort tea, I've recommended it before, I believe. It is amazing. Delicious. I love it. It's by Buddha Teas. It's delightful. I think it may have a trace amount of caffeine, but not enough to keep you awake at night. So I usually like to drink it in the evening before I go to bed because mugwort is supposed to assist you in dreaming and ancestor contact and all that good stuff. Another update is if you are a listener to New World Witchery, which if you aren't, I highly, highly, highly recommend. I also recommend you go back and listen to every single one of them. You don't have to start at the beginning and go forward. I would actually kind of go backwards probably. Do whatever you want to do. I also recommend, if you do already listen to New World Witchery, consider becoming a Patreon. You don't have to pay more than $1 a month. If you want to go at the base level, you still get the perks. You know, many of the perks. You get an annual little package, little small fun things. You get access to some Patreon only podcasts. And that's where, this is why I'm bringing it up. I'm on a lot of those, which is funny because podcast is not in my wheelhouse as far as participating. I like the video thing because I can go back, I can edit, and when it's just me sitting and talking, I don't interrupt people nearly as bad. I'm not good with phone calls or things where I can't see the person. I think part of the empathetic thing that I have, that empathic tendency, is that I like to be in front of somebody and I like to be able to see their face, see their eyes, feel their energy, and I feel like I communicate much better with them that way. Tangent. My point is, this Saturday coming up, the 26th, I think that's the right date, there's going to be another Patreon-only conversation, and you will get to hear that. I don't know what level you have to be to participate in it, if you have to be producer status or whatever, but anyway, it's fun, it's awesome, and if you want to hear some really silly and touching, at times, conversations, consider becoming a Patreon and going back and listening to those. I listened to all New World Witchery episodes multiple times to the point that it's probably on the weird side, but I love it. I love it. I love it. So I'll be on that chat coming up this Saturday, and then Corey and I have been emailing a teeny bit, and at some point this year, there is going to be an episode on the topic of children and witchcraft, and I have a bunch of ideas for that. I had emailed and said I'm going to compose this letter about the various ways that my little guy and I bring magic into most days, and how I do that living in a home where the other parent is not pagan or witchy in the least bit. Yes, I am divorced. Poochie will be 9. We've been divorced since he was like 3 or 4. But we bought a really nice house together, and we just refinanced this really nice house. His dad lives in the basement. I've mentioned that many times. We don't hate each other, so it works. We don't really see each other very often. My point is, it is still a 2-parent household, and his grandparents, especially his grandmother, is very, very Christian. In fact, right now, I'm making this video while Poochie is at church. It'll be an interesting conversation, I think, of how I bring in pagan beliefs and witchy woo while not offending or stepping on the toes of, the mainstream people around me. One really fun thing before I leave the topic of kids, or at least Poochie, I bought this on a whim. That's how I buy pretty much 95% of all my stuff, but I bought this on a whim at my last witchy meetup group, which was Beltane, and I'm going to talk more about that in a minute, but this was so cute. I have not used them yet with Poochie. It's the Gummy Bear Tarot. These are very cute, and I think they would be awesome for introducing Poochie to tarot. Now here's the thing. Though I have accumulated quite a collection of tarot decks, probably, I've given away quite a few too, but I would say I still probably have 8 to 10. That's nothing compared to some people, but for someone who doesn't really consider herself all that great at doing tarot yet, it's funny I keep buying them. Obviously, I'm very, very interested in learning more about it, and there are some courses, some classes that are offered at my local witchy shop place. And I'm thinking about bringing Poochie along. And I thought these would be really cool, fun beginner's cards. This is what the back looks like. These are still in order. I haven't mixed them up. I did go through them and look at them. I think overall they're super, super cute, super kid-friendly. Isn't that adorable? Now, I'm sure people who are extremely, tarot-philes would probably think this was bad, but I don't know. I'm not one of those people. I love tarot. I love the different types of ideas and representations that the various artists have come up with over the years. Yes, I respect that the original Rider Waite Smith is probably for most people the real one and the one to learn with. I've been embracing mine more lately. I've never liked the Rider Waite Smith, mainly because I don't like the looks of them. I don't like the colors. I really hate, it's not that I hate yellow, I just don't like the yellow on those cards. I don't like the imagery. There's a lot I don't like, and I'm sure other people understand that. But at the same time, I do get the fact that they are rich with symbolism, and that there is nothing on those cards that is a waste, that every little part of those cards has meaning. So in knowing that, I can see how people who are diehards for that aren't really going to necessarily appreciate other types. I'm going on a tangent again. Have you missed my tangents? Okay, how adorable is this little emperor dude? He's so cute. I don't like the Hierophant usually. That one's cute. Now, I will say some of them kind of would be happy if they had left the breasts off of the gummy bears, because I've never eaten gummy bears with boobs, but okay. And even the little fig leaf thing. I feel like that's going to take some explaining, but it is the Lover's card. So if I do finally go forward with showing, I haven't even told Poochie about these, and I've had him since Beltane. Just because I don't know when I want to approach it. Still glad they're not overly, you know, boobified, because my child is a boy who's almost 9, and yeah, they're so cute. This isn't supposed to be a little walkthrough, so I will put these down now. When I went to my Beltane gathering, I went early and attended a class before the Beltane meetup. There is an herbal class that is being conducted by our head priestess. She is a priestess. She is well versed and trained. She has many, many years of history in Wicca and witchcraft of different types. And I just love her. I love her. We call her Granny Moon, and she has an energy that when I'm with her, I feel like she is my relative. I just want to hug her. I want to spend time with her. I don't do those things. I reserve myself because I don't usually like to show to others, especially when we don't have that kind of relationship. Obviously, I'm not going to be creepy. But when I heard she was teaching this herbal course, I jumped on that, and it took place, this first class took place before Beltane. While there, we had lots of learning and discussion, and my favorite part was we got to, I'm looking for it, we got to make something. I love when you attend a class and you leave with something. Handouts are okay, but I really appreciate it when you get to leave with more than handouts. And we made a rose shield oil. It's cute because she brought in salt shakers, but then there's like a little tiny bit of, plastic. This was a Ziploc bag that she cut up and that we put so that it wouldn't leak. Mine has been sitting in the window in the sun. Well, I was going to say in the sunny window. We've had rain for like 6 days straight. Again, I always feel like I'm going to start growing mushrooms on my back or something when it's just always wet outside. The sun's out today, yay. When this was first made, it was gorgeous. The red of the roses is still quite gorgeous. But this is rose shield oil that we got to make and take. I brought over the paperwork that went along with it. I won't share with you all the bits and pieces because to me that was part of what she was offering us, and I don't want to just give it away for free. But I will tell you, the rose shield oil you use in conjunction with a protection spell. If you want to protect your home, sprinkle this oil across the doorways and windows. To protect your car and its occupants before a long trip, I would say any trip in this area where I live because of all the crazies. Sprinkle the tires and steering wheel. To protect your sacred space, sprinkle around the outside of the space. To protect yourself, rub a small amount of the oil on the insides of your wrists, the top of your hands, the soles of your feet, and the insides of your ankles. That sounds really cool. So we'll tell you, in the oil there is rose and there is sage, but there's a couple other little magical ingredients plus the incantations that we said over it to imbue it and enchant it. So I'm thrilled. One of my resolutions this year, yes, one was the ancestor altar, but one is to have more magic every day in my life, and I'm not quite there. I'm trying, but I'm not quite there, and I'm always thrilled when I finally get out and do the stuff. So this makes me very happy. Also, while I was at the meetup, it's connected to a little awesome witchy store. They have upped their game in recent years. They have so much there, so much to offer. I've bought several oils and powders. This last time I went, I really wanted Crown of Success oil. I looked into how to make some myself, but when you can buy it already made by someone you trust, because it's made in-house there, you want to go with that route. But they didn't have any. What they did have was some of the powder. The owner of the store talked me through how to turn the powder into an oil. I think I've added too much because that is some very green looking oil, but it's a little thick. She told me not to use too much, but I always am of the idea of if a little is good, a lot is great. And we know that's not always true. But that has also been sitting in the windowsill with my rose shield oil as it marinates and becomes ready for use. Okay, I think the last thing I wanted to share with you are just a couple things I've picked up lately that I love. One was at Michael's on this past week. I had a couple doctor's appointments, so I took the day off. In between the doctor's appointments, I had a little chunk of time and decided I need to go to Michael's. It's been too long. I love to buy crystals there, like little small ones that you can use in spells and larger ones you can make jewelry out of. I have never before this time seen labradorite offered, so I was excited, had to buy that. I did not keep the prices, but I know that one of these is about $7 or $8 and the other one is probably up to $10. This larger one probably is the more expensive one. But these labradorite pieces are gorgeous. I like the shape because I can use them in a grid. And it just comes on a string like this. So, can you see the flash of the labradorite? Well, kinda. Also this one. Sometimes when I see things like this, I just go ahead and buy it. It's like buy now, figure out how you're going to use it later. I've cut back on doing that with a lot of things because I have discovered I have way too much crap. But when it comes to labradorite, which is probably my favorite of all the stones, yeah, I've spent more money on labradorite than any other stone ever. Isn't that pretty? Did I ever even show you my labradorite skull I bought? Hang on, let me show you this thing. I'm sure I had to have shown you this, but in case I didn't, I will share it now. This was the biggest impulse buy to date as far as priciness. This thing was more than $100. Now, I will say, I didn't read it closely. I thought it was going to be bigger, but I don't care. Yeah, isn't that gorgeous? If you're a fan of labradorite, or whatever your favorite stone is, sometimes you see one and you know it's yours and you have to pay whatever the price is to get her to you. So I love this. There's another huge labradorite piece I shared forever ago that my sister gave me that I sleep right next to my head at night. It's huge. I'm not going to go get it because I don't want to. But it's, it's that big, about that tall, and it's a big old thing. It's in a video a long time ago. Anyway, I got those at Michael's. I also found this. This was on sale. I've been looking for something like this forever to put my crystals in when I charge them outside on full moon nights. I love this because it's easy to transport, because I keep all my crystals upstairs in my room and have to take them all downstairs to put them outside to charge, and it always takes me about 5 trips to get up and down the stairs, which is good. I get my steps in, right? But at the same time, this would be nice and convenient. I like the fact that there's like a big lip on this so they won't fall off. I've been looking for a long time for something like this. I also like that it's not glass because though I rarely put my crystals out when it's going to freeze, you never know, and glass breaks. I've broken many things. This was on sale about 40+% off, so it came to $17. Originally it was $30. So I love that. I think there were other things I got from Michael's, but I won't bore you with anything else. The last thing I will share with you is I discovered a delightful tea from World Market. I have been trying to cut back on waste, as I've mentioned in the couple previous videos, recent videos. And yes, this tea here still comes in a tea bag, which I'm going to try to get past this soon because those don't break down, and I really am trying to not have waste anymore. And when I can find things in glass, loose tea, then I grab it. This is really, really good. It smells so lemony when you open it. Couldn't remember, so I wanted to check. It's caffeine free, which is good because I usually drink this stuff at night. Lemon myrtle, lavender, honeybush. Oh, all organic. Okay, I heard a car door. That means Poochie is home. So I'm going to bid you adieu. I think the front door is locked. And thanks for watching. I love you guys. Bye.